As we see the lineup for heat number 2, Julia Simon, ranked number 3 in the World Cup rankings, will be the athlete to watch in this one. Malinka Kaida, Lena Todorova of Bulgaria as well, of course, had such a standout year in the World Cup last year. The Gasparin of Switzerland, of course, they home World Championships. Swiss team maybe would have wanted more, but they came away with some very good results. This is Michela Carrara of Italy. 5th in the sprint in Lenzerheide at the World Championships. Bornikova, championship silver medalist in the relay. Elena Todorova, well, 2 World Cup podiums, both coming last season. The 27-year-old really had a huge season. Julia Simon, a big smile on her face, 10-time world champion. And alongside her, Malinka Kaida, bronze in the mass start in Lenzerheide, a maiden world championship podium. Who's your one to watch in this heat, Scott?
Julia Simon, and I think it's almost easy to pick the person starting at the very front and the top, but they're there for a reason. She's very, very good at just pushing through the, I would say the flatter can sometimes be harder, and pushing through those harder segments, Julia Simon is absolute master of skate 2, the technique for those flatter, harder segments.
So the countdown is on, the athletes are poised and ready to go. Heat number 2 is underway here at the Loop 1 Festival. And it's a quick start from Simon, and battling to get into a good position as well was Malinka Kaida, who wanted to match Julia Simon for speed, and she has done it. As those two have made the best of the starts.
I'm excited to see how Lisa Vittozzi fares. She's starting back a little bit from the lead and has to contend with the traffic, but already you can see that this is a lot faster. The pace being led by Julia Simon. She is taking no prisoners.
Well, of course, we didn't see her in the walkthrough of the athletes there, but it is the return of Lisa Vittozzi as well, and she will wear bib number 25. Of course, the World Cup total score winner in the 23-24 season. She was hoping that there would be an opportunity for her to get back onto the snow on the World Cup. Towards the end of last season, she had to keep pushing back and pushing back at the time, based off the fact that her injury at one point was improving. Then there was a setback, and so she decided to call time on her season to prioritise performing and getting into the right shape to take on this Olympic season. So interesting to see how she fares today. And it is Julia Simon pushing the pace at the front.
Yeah, she's not shy to get up there and really lead with a fast pace. The cost of that, of course, is that she takes the headwind, and that will contribute to her fatigue as the race goes on. But she's going fast. She's running her own race, and that definitely has been thought of ahead of time, and it seems to be the strategy from the French to be quite aggressive, and that has appeared or manifested across all the different heats.
She has a good record in mass starts competitions, 4 mass start World Cup wins, however none since the 23-24 season. Did win her 4th individual title in a World Championships at Lenzerheide. That was in the individual. Slow start to the season, then it really burst into life, and she was such a great entertainer at the World Championships in February as they come through the line. And it is Julia Simon who leads us through 1 kilometre first, with Kaida tucked in behind Todorova. Keep your eyes on her, Steinovik as well of Norway. Totsi going to just work her way forward, and you imagine she'll do so gradually.
Yeah, I think Bornikova is definitely one to look out for me, who could potentially perform very well here.
Yeah, she finished last season so strongly. Rosa Vornikova, athlete from Czechia, 7th in the pursuit in Oslo.
Vittozzi managing to make her way up through the field. She's managed to get, it's not too easy, as we've already pointed out, there's a lot of traffic. So to even gain back just a couple spots at this early stage is no easy task. But I think if I was to go into the mindset of a biathlete starting further behind, there isn't that much of an imperative to get forward. It's actually advantageous to stay settled, to stay relaxed, because there isn't a huge time gap between the leader and the one at the back. So you're not gaining such a huge amount by forcing yourself through those tight spots.
We'll see what the time difference is when they come into shooting one, as they now do. Vittozzi is just 2.8 seconds behind the lead of Julia Simon. He was just picking the pace up slightly as they made their way around the first 1.8 kilometre loop.
8 seconds faster than Heat 1 to get to the shooting range.
And that could make all the difference. Simon first to shoot. Vittozzi follows quickly. Gasparana as well. It's 2 from 2 now, 3 from 3 for Vittozzi, who is flying and going so well. And it's 5 for 5 for Lisa Vittozzi on her return. Julia Simon will be once around the penalty loop. Kagaida will go twice. But the patience of Lisa Vittozzi paying off. She will surely be the first to come out of shooting one.
Repinch of Slovenia managing to go 5 out of 5 as well as Sletemark of Greenland. Slow shooting but accurate and well better rested. But Vittozzi dancing up the hill there. It cannot be said for the athlete who's losing their pole, getting in a bit of a tangle there. Was that Simon?
I believe it may have been. I wonder if we'll get a shot of it again. Julia Simon is 12.3 seconds behind. The pace of Lisa Vittozzi, well, she was right in the middle of the pack. She was seeded towards the back, of course, owing to the fact that she didn't compete on the World Cup last season. And what a return it is. This is the shooting of Julia Simon.
The rifle perfectly vertical, steady, as she breathes in, and then as she exhales, the front of the rifle rises up onto the target. The target entry always coming from beneath and then coming up onto the target for prone shooting.
And there, a look at the shooting of Lisa Vittozzi, who has opened herself up to quite an impressive lead in the early stages. And this is exactly the start that she would have wanted to make on her return. Leaving shooting 8.3 seconds ahead of Lena Repinch. And you wouldn't be surprised if you see that gap open slightly. You know how formidable Lisa Vittozzi can be on the skis, and she's flying along as the crowd builds to the right-hand side of her.
What a beautiful setting to be racing in around this park, with the lovely still reflection on the lake, and the fans showing out in their thousands here to come and watch this spectacle.
And of course, as a lot of the athletes have attested to, Lou Jean Monod saying before, of course, their first heat, that it is so nice to come here and not have the pressure really weighted, mounted on your shoulders. And no one maybe might feel that more than Lisa Vittozzi. Of course, there would have been pressure last season should she have raced to try and defend a title. She didn't have the opportunity to do so. Here is Lena Repinch, who is moving along well. There's a look at her target. He's driving to try and close the gap to Lisa Vittozzi, which stood at 8.3 seconds. We won't be too far away from finding out just what the gap is at the 2.8 kilometre mark. And here it is, the time check indeed, as she makes her way over the bridge and will break the line first. And you can see, well, it seems to me, naked eye, that that gap may have just opened slightly, but she is fighting hard, the Slovenian.
And Slovenia, of course, with FAC having such success, and Lampic having such success on home soil last year, or home snow, that there's going to be certainly a lot of motivation in that team going forward to the Olympics.
Oh, absolutely. There's just 0.1 of a second cut into the lead of Lisa Vittozzi by Lena Repinch, as Julia Simon losing time actually a second, almost a second, after coming out of shooting one at the 2.8 kilometre mark.
So Kirkeide of Norway is down 20 seconds almost on the leader Vittozzi, and that equates to one miss, 15 seconds if we're counting 15 seconds for a penalty loop, and then it could also be clawed back by shooting very quickly relative to the leader, but that's a lot of things that need to work in Kirkeide's place for her to climb from 7th right up to the top spot.
Well, we've seen a lot of biathlon in very quick succession already today, and this, I believe, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, the first time that we have seen an athlete really come in all by themselves into the range. I can't remember across any of the men's heats that we had a leader who was this far ahead. We haven't seen Lena Rapinch now come into the range, as she does just make her way around the corner, and already Lisa Vittozzi will be set and ready to go.
And that dynamic means that it's now Vittozzi's race to lose, adding a different pressure, but she manages it well for the first 2 shots, shooting beautifully well. 3 go down, 4 go down, accurately so, quickly, all 5 targets for Lisa Vittozzi. What a comeback.
That is how you mark your return. 10 out of 10, she's clean and away, and this race is hers. Another miss for Simon, 2 for Lena Lapinch, who will start to fall back. Who can capitalise out of this trailing pack? It looks like it might be Isaac Gaspalan who is able to. Her and Todorova go 5 for 5, and there are plenty of missed hits, so many reds there, as Vabornikova going 5 for 5 as well. But this is Lisa Vittozzi's race. She is so far ahead. Let's keep our eyes on the time. Over 20 seconds, almost 25 seconds it will be, as Aita Gasparan comes over the top of the hill there, and it's 24.3 seconds, the advantage that Lisa Vittozzi has. Well, talk about laying down a marker, talk about coming back and performing to your very best, because that is exactly what Lisa Vittozzi is doing today.
Absolutely, and it's almost as if she was on a training race. She didn't appear to be feeling any nerves whatsoever. She came into that final stand, and it's as if she was just in her own bubble, focusing just on her process, and the targets went down with ease. The end of the rifle is completely steady, trigger pressure perfect, and a cool, calm, and collected look at the 5 targets that went down in quick succession.
Well, you don't see the grin maybe so much on her face, but you can feel it. You can really feel the relief. You can feel that she knows just how well she's done there, and now it will be a very lonely but a very well-deserved final lap around the stunning Olympic Park, as we take a quick look, Scott, at where her shots landed.
Well, she only required 1/4 of the target to get them all down. Good grouping, but all of them in the top right. So if the target was just the top right quarter, then from 12 till 3 o'clock, then she still would have got 4 out of 5.
Here's a look at the targets of Aita Gasparan. First took a historic sprint relay gold medal in Pokluka, across the board improvement last season. Todorova, we've already spoken about the way that she really burst back onto the scene, back into people's minds in towards the end in particular of last season, but that 3rd place finish in the sprint in Oberhof gave her so much confidence before she improved her personal best in the mass start in Pokluka. Another who competed at the City Biathlon this year, just not too long ago in Dresden, and performed very well.
The tactical race now. We have Gasparin and Todorova, who are in a pretty comfortable position, not being particularly threatened, but Vabornikova seems to have fallen back slightly.
And it is Aita Gasparan and Todorova, the 2 who are currently, and as they make their way through the 4.6 kilometre mark with around 800 metres left to go, will have a decent advantage. Now, who is chasing here? It is Vabornikova, and you can see the pace, no doubt, will have dropped. Let's take a look at the time. Yep, just dropping off, unable to match the pace of Todorova and Gasparan, who have been pushing on together. Now, where is Julia Simon? Because she seems to be well out of the picture, as we just on our screen that we can see the times of Fensteinovic and Kirkaida pop up. Julia Simon is down in 7th, 45 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, and Kirkaida missing 5 and still managing to be 0.4 seconds ahead of Simon. So it's clear that Julia Simon either has given up the fight knowing full well that she's not going to get a lucky loser, and therefore not treating this as any more of a training session beyond what she's already done. But great skiing from Kirkaida to be able to be only 45 seconds back despite 5 misses.
Yeah, when you look at the stats around, it really is impressive. But what is impressive today? What a return, Lisa Vittozzi. That is a statement. That is how you do it. Here is the battle for 2nd and 3rd, although not much of a battle, as they both now will qualify through to the final, along with Lisa Vittozzi, who has marked her return so impressively. Across the line comes Todorova, and Aita Gasparin, of course, competing without her sister for the first time in this upcoming season, and despite performing well in the range, not to beat today for Teresa Bornikova. And there you see Kirkaida and Fensteinovic across the line.
Fast skiing from the Norwegians, very inaccurate shooting, but to be able to cover the ground as quickly as they just did, that certainly has good connotations for their form leading into this upcoming winter season. But we've seen from both of those athletes exceptional form on the skis, with a slightly less predictability when it comes to the shooting range, whereas Vittozzi really is the full, all-round, reliable, I'd say full picture biathlete as she has been in the past, but looking good going forward to a home Olympic Games.
Well, it's so important, of course, to mention those home Olympic Games, isn't it? Because they would have been such a big motivator through the challenging months of not being able to compete with your team, not being able to train with your team, doing so much work alone while recovering from injury. The huge motivator of the Olympic Games, no doubt, will have kept everything going, kept her rolling along, given some real positives to look forward to. And Lisa Vittozzi, dominant performance, 18.1 seconds her advantage in the end, as the last few athletes make their way across the finish line in this 2nd of 4 heats. And well, let's just take a look at the time difference between the two. It was, of course, the fastest time of the day for Lisa Vittozzi. Clean shooting, impressive on the skis. And well, it'll take a little bit of maths to figure out where it might lie with the lucky losers. I think it will be just out of reach for Bornikova.
Yeah, she's Bornikova some 15 seconds behind Lotte Lee's time. No, I take that back, 7 seconds. So she's actually inside Heidi Schvolt's time. So it does look like so far, and I wouldn't be too optimistic that this will remain the case, but she is, looks like 2nd lucky loser as of yet behind Lotte Lee, as per my maths, but remains to be checked with the official graphics.
And of course, when we get those official results, when this heat concludes, we will bring you the update on that.
And it looked so easy there for Vittozzi, just managing to cruise around the track. And every step along the way appeared to be very relaxed. The shooting was relaxed. And she didn't start in an optimal position, being a little further back, but I think she might have gained something from the drafting effect, being in the middle of the group as opposed to being up at the front.
And here is confirmation of those results with the conclusion of heat number 2. Lisa Vittozzi is back. And that is the big headline from heat number 2. That including as well, you have to, when you look further down, say Julia Simon, unable to qualify for the final.